Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 17 of the Crubcast. My name is Kevin. I'm your host today, also known as the Golden Bolt, here on YouTube and other platforms. I'm also here with some of my co-crubbers. The man who just stared at me weirdly to my right, stage left, that Trav guy. Hi, Trav.
Ah! Hey, how's it going?
Why'd you yell at me? I don't like that.
I didn't
He
know
saw
which
the
way I was
cryptid.
facing.
That was the luscious voice of famous Twitch streamer JTart9, also known as Justin. Justin, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. I finally got some days off from work, and I've just been catching up on sleep, so I'm feeling really good.
It's also rabbit hunting season behind you, I'm noticing.
For the YouTube audience, yeah.
Yeah, for the audio listeners,
only
Justin
for the YouTube audience?
has a weird green screen behind him.
And the Twitch
And
audience,
we
yeah.
also have Chris Mykonos fan here. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in LeBron James's room. That's my background, so I'm doing pretty good.
So,
Hi, LeBron James.
we have an interesting
LeBron.
topic in store today, and it's similar to LeBron. It's creatures that don't exist. So we are going to talk about cryptids, but not in the sense of a podcast about cryptids or an unsolved mysteries sort of thing about cryptids. No. We're going to make one. We're going to make our own cryptid, and Trav, by the end of this stream, by the end of this recording of the podcast, will be drawing that cryptid for us and showing it on air on the YouTube version. For the audio listeners, there will be a copy of that link in the show notes, so you can check out the cryptid yourself.
It will also be the thumbnail for the stream on all listening platforms.
Yes, that is now a fact. So take that, Chris.
It's true.
So,
it will be.
If you're not familiar with cryptids, Chris, you're a bit of a local cryptid expert as far as we are concerned here at the Crubcast. So tell us what a cryptid is.
A cryptid is a creature that is purported to have exist, but no one can prove it. Kind of like my father past age 18. I haven't seen him in a while.
Dude, me too. That's crazy.
But I'm also local to the Mothman, probably second most popular behind the Loch Ness Monster, right? I have to imagine. I guess like
Bigfoot
Yetis,
is up
Bigfoot.
there.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
yeah.
Yeah. As I was
Abominable
talking,
Snowman.
The
was
shorts.
I was unwinding my own self-importance relative to the thing. It's like, oh, it's not that popular, right?
No, it's fair.
The Flatwoods Monster is also a few hours from here. I've been there. Like the aliens from Majora's Mask were based on it. So
Ooh,
that one's gotten around.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So I will contribute nothing to this discussion.
So
That's right. Bye, Chris.
yeah, to summarize, cryptids are those weird semi-mythological creatures that people say exists, the swamp monsters and the like. And I had the brilliant idea of having us workshop a new cryptid together so that we can then fool the world into thinking this thing exists. So that is our goal, my fellow crubbers watching and listening to this, is to tell your friends that there is a cryptid that you heard about, and we will name it, and we will give you its backstory by the end of this podcast today. So we all kind of brought our own flavor into the mix of what we think makes a cryptid. So, for example, one of the things that I think makes a cryptid is a location of choice in which it would be believable. And I have a pitch for the three of you that I think is the right place for our cryptid to be home, or to be housed, to be located, for his
Lay it
range
on
of
me.
existence to be.
I like
so
my
for
cryptids
example,
rehomed.
For example, it's an adopted cryptid. For example, Chris, you have the Mothman, which exists local to you, and it has very woodlandy type features. It exists in that region. I'm being very vague here, because, yeah. Tell me a little more about Mothman before we go further.
The Mothman has been tied to disasters of sorts, right? With the Silver Bridge of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, collapsing like some specific amount of months after its first purported sighting, like to the day. So some people see it as like a warning that the bridge was going to fall and kill like 40 some people or something like that. It was seen in a TNT bunker off into the woods around here. So that's
Like
pretty
the-
cool.
The
Wasn't it
TV
like a
channel?
nuclear bunker? Was it like a nuclear silo or something like that? Was that what it was? Because people
Just-
thought it was mutated.
Just the TNT bunker, but maybe there is some mutated stuff around here.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
been a minute.
Okay.
It's kind of a
you'll
fact
notice-
of life around here, so I'm just like, yeah, probably.
That's fair. You'll notice that a lot of cryptids are in areas where it wouldn't be easy to find one. There's no New York cryptid, or if there is, it's in the sewers, because it's got to be believable. They are not. They are real.
What?
The Ninja Turtles are real. You can't. Don't tell me they're fake. It's like Santa.
Santa's
a cryptid. Santa's a cryptid.
Santa's a cryptid.
So, my idea for the
Ninja
location
Turtles are real?
of our cryptid, Ohio. I think it should
Do they
be
have
Ohio.
one?
Because there's no proof that Ohio exists. There's nobody that goes there. There's nobody that lives there.
I mean,
It's
this
the
guy
middle of
does.
nowhere.
It's not even
And-
like it's abandoned. It's like no one lived there.
So if we put it in Ohio, people would believe it because no one goes there. So they'd be like, yeah, I believe Ohio.
I thought he was from Ohio.
If you guys are open, you are
Who are you
pointing
pointing to?
on our audio podcast. Justin, where do you think our cryptid should be if not Ohio?
Yeah, what's you doing better, guy?
I like Oklahoma because that's another state that I forget exists because it's just another part of Texas.
Like
You
the
want me to-
tornado monster.
Can I
Yeah.
put forth an even more forgettable state? South
Do it.
Dakota.
Okay. South
Hey,
Dakota. What about
have you-
Iowa?
Doesn't
ever-
South Dakota have Mount Rushmore, or is that North Dakota? I think South has Mount Rushmore.
North Dakota, then.
North Dakota.
Okay.
Have you ever met someone from North Dakota?
No.
I haven't.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have. I met someone who moved there, I think, once. I was like a kid I went to school with.
Is that like Arkansas?
No, our Kansas
It's
is
the
just
other
Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah, it's the other Kansas.
There's our
okay.
Kansas and then their Kansas.
Yeah, like Arkham Asylum. That's
Okay,
where they get it from.
so we've narrowed down Ohio, Oklahoma, North Dakota. Trav, do you have any? Do you have a preference?
Has anyone? How many do we have? Is that 3?
That's 3. So if you
Okay,
want one of
I'd
those,
like-
then vote one of those 2.
Well, no, I'd like to vote for Delaware.
We could do Delaware.
Delaware's pretty barren.
Delaware's small, but no one goes there unless they're going through to another state. We did meet the chicken cheese man, who's debatably a cryptid. We have no proof he existed other than the sopping wet chicken cheese sandwich that he ordered at Burger King.
I'm not gonna lie.
In your
I
bag.
forgot if you wanted to save Delaware as some big reveal because we were talking about it in the pre-show. I already forgot.
No.
Okay.
Although, speaking of the pre-show, for those that aren't familiar, we do stream these recordings live on Twitch this week on YouTube at youtube.com/@CrubOfficial, twitch.tv/Crub_official. So if you'd
not
like
my
the
intention.
exclusive pre- and post-show access to those things, you can hang out with us before and after the recordings here. Have a good time. Talk to us more about what we're talking about. And if you are in the audio realm, definitely subscribe to the YouTube for a lot of our other discussion-y content. Trav and I just talked about the Starfield video game that is coming out as of the time of recording, literally the moment that we're streaming this right now, pretty much. So
It was not live, so we have some stuff that will not be live.
yeah, it's a spoiler-free discussion, but you will probably enjoy it, and a lot of our bonus stuff will go only to the YouTube. If you like the audio realm, you can listen at crub.org. You can find all of our audio links, all that sort of stuff. So become a Crubscriber or else. So we have Delaware, Ohio, Oklahoma, and North Dakota.
I
South
like
Dakota.
Delaware a lot,
South Dakota.
actually.
I'm leaning Delaware.
I thought about
Now
it
that
during
you
the
mention
plug, and I was like, it feels like it shouldn't have something due to its size, but I think that actually kind of works in its favor, right? It feels like it's easy to miss something that's hiding there.
It's like the Jersey Devil almost. Like you don't think it should exist. Because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's in the forests of New Jersey. They don't exist.
yeah,
like,
right?
There's a forest in New Jersey?
Not really. No, it's all swamps and stuff.
It's not
Swamps.
at all swamps. But, oh, yeah, okay.
Swampy.
There's swamps all over New Jersey. Come on now.
All right, Shrek.
I've never been. No, I did drive through New Jersey. I could say that.
Another thing about cryptids that I think is important is a scary yet believable story about its features that is vague enough that it can change frequently. So we need a number of features for our cryptid, for the Crub cryptid, that could either all exist in one creature or that are have enough crossover that multiple of them could exist on this creature at once.
I mean, yeah,
So,
if we can make this as diverse as the Chupacabra, like
yeah.
there's so many people. Like, is it a lizard? Is it like a wolf? Is it a bird? So the one of the earliest sightings of the Chupacabra, I know this off memory. I'm not looking this up. One of the earliest sightings of it compared it to a vulture, a really large vulture, and that's nothing like how we perceive the Chupacabra today.
Yeah, and these stories change
I purposely
over
didn't tell
time
you guys
and
this.
mold.
I used to be obsessed with cryptids. I was waiting until we started streaming to just geek out
the big
about this.
reveal.
Yes,
I like that.
I used to be obsessed with this stuff.
Okay, so my pitch, I will go first here. Horse legs.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
At least 2 horse legs. It doesn't need to be 4. It can be a centaur. But I think it needs 2 like backwards knee horse legs.
Okay.
Justin, what do you think about features for your cryptid?
I think that it should be only feet. Like
What does that
just
mean?
What is
like
what
a
would you like to
massive
tell us,
feet.
Justin?
Okay, wait. Do you mean only feet as in like made up of various feet throughout its
Yes.
entire body, or all of
Yes.
its limbs are feet?
No, because
it's the first one.
the foot monster sounds like a thing that would exist in like a Shin Megami Tensei fight. I don't think
Because I'm
like,
thinking
that's someone's fetish.
Because I'm thinking it like rolls on the floor.
Justin just
wanna-
looks down the door. He's like, I want this to be impossible for Trav to draw.
Justin just wants me to draw feet, and I'm not having that.
See, I mean, I suggested horse legs because Trav then has to draw a horse as part of this, and drawing a horse is notoriously the hardest thing to do for any artist. So,
So feet is not too bad.
yeah.
Are you,
So
are
you
you
just
trying
want
to solo me out?
Are you? Do you just want a Goron made out of feet, Justin? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just thinking that like, what if like all of the people that it takes their feet, and it just adds itself to the
Oh.
mass.
Oh,
Okay.
it's the what was that big like pine cone monster from Skyward Sword that you had to fight like 3 times? It's gonna be that, but made of feet.
Demise.
yeah,
Yeah.
Demise.
No, the not demise.
The imprisoned. The imprisoned.
Imprisoned. Yes.
Oh, that thing.
Yes. Feet imprisoned.
I like this because that is just built in, like, to scare kids too, right? Like, oh, don't run out with your bare feet. You know, make sure you put your shoes on before you leave the house, or the
Exactly. Because then it'll see
Delawarean foot
them.
monster will get you and take your feet.
Oh my god,
Oh,
that's
that is good.
Now we have lore. Like it was
Okay.
to scare children into wearing something over their feet.
Yeah. Everyone was walking around barefoot.
So now we
There's
need
a
a reason
problem.
for why we shouldn't be barefoot in Delaware.
Okay.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
Okay.
and make sure you bring your shoes inside because kids have left their shoes outside negligently, and they found bite marks in the morning when
Okay.
they went outside.
You know what?
This,
Yeah, the
this is
destroyed
how
like that.
shoes.
this is how those shoes end up on those like power cables up
just
there.
chucks them up there.
Yeah, it like that's what it does.
Are we
like,
saying?
who
Are
does
we
it?
saying that this cryptid sells drugs? Because that's what it sounds like we're saying.
It feels like we're describing an addict. Yeah.
No. You see, where people sell drugs is now dictated by this monster.
Oh, they use
Ooh,
drugs to get
so-
away from the fear of the cryptid.
This
Okay.
monster is the plug.
Okay.
The plug?
So let me take that and I'll posit you a follow-up idea.
Okay.
You bring the shoes inside because they either find bite marks or that is where its children's eggs are.
Oh my
and they
god.
hatch and they take your feet.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
so like
It's like a banana spider, like the spiders that you find in banana boxes where you got to be careful with them.
Right.
It's like that, but with your shoes. And that's why you should not take your shoes off unless you are inside and potentially not take them off, period. Instead, buying these little silicone condoms for your shoes.
This is the natural endpoint for this, I think.
Yeah. So how does
That was a good
how do the horse
podcast,
legs
everyone. Yeah.
factor into the
So the horse legs are like
That's-
its main. You know how like crabs and spiders they actually
Crabs.
have a fifth set of appendages, but it's just to like grab food.
yeah?
That's
yeah.
what the horse legs are for.
see what I think the horse legs are for is that's what the cryptid looks like without any of its victims' feet.
Just two horse
Wait,
legs.
does it shed feet
No,
then?
no.
Like every winter it sheds its feet?
Okay, so
No.
we need to work
The
out
amount
two
of-
stages.
The
It has
amount of
the
feet
raw-
that it has, is how many victims it has claimed.
Yeah, the raw form is just the horse legs, and then
So it's
as it
Giratina.
grows-
It's
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. It's Giratina, but instead of like those little pincers, it's just got millions of horse legs. And then
More
the
horse
feet-
legs, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
then it
biblically
gets coated-
accurate horse legs.
So I think we need the horse legs because that'll make it move faster. So
Well, it'll have at least 1 horsepower.
it'll have the
Horsepower.
horse's speed so that it can hunt people down in the woods of Delaware. The woods and the swamps and the mires of Delaware. I think that
mires.
works.
The
think
Mirelands
that-
of Delaware, yeah.
I think that works. Now, do we want to make it a semi-aquatic creature? Like a crab? Because Delaware is near
No,
water.
I think that it should be a land dweller.
Landlocked? Okay. Okay.
As soon as
That's
you
fair.
make it to the ocean, you're safe.
Okay, now Chris.
That's why you can go into the ocean without shoes on. You don't need shoes
Like I mean,
in the ocean.
fish don't have feet.
But
It
that's
can't
where they
absorb
get you.
them.
Yeah, it's just the foot monster is just standing on the edge of the beach, just waiting for you to get out with a baseball bat.
So I have an idea because it's going
I'm
to be
gonna
hard
draw
for
this
Trav.
thing looking into the ocean, just with the man impact font.
Yearning.
So
I'll let you finish.
Well,
because
so
my
I was going to
creative brain is
say
going.
the thought about the feet that concerns me is people are going to have to imagine this creature with millions of feet, and I fear that that's going to make it hard for A, for Trav to draw, and B, for us to be able to
that's okay.
spread into the world as a creature, because it needs to be
I already
like
kind of know how I want it drawn. I'll be real.
okay.
So I'm imagining it
go
with no eyes, no sensory organs visible.
So it's a no idea.
And also, it has a big fin going down its back, and that fin is actually like a big human foot.
I can
So
see
like
that.
This is just a
big toe
Dan
studs.
Schneider sketch.
Dan
That is
Schneider.
what this is. That is all this is. I'm not sold on the million feet idea.
Okay.
I think it
I
needs
don't-
like a rudimentary rucksack or something that it stores the feet in, maybe.
Yeah. Well, so it's like a hunchback, and he carries the
Okay,
sack of feet.
okay.
No, that works because what I was going to say was that this creature. So another thing is you need an origin story for this creature. So my idea is that the creature has mob origins. It's not mob created, but you know how people make the concrete shoes and they throw you in the water. That's a very like a classic mobster thing.
Yes.
What
so-
if those feet are the first feet that this creature takes? That's why I was suggesting water-based. It can it can swim in rivers. So the first thing that breaks off of a decomposing body, I only know this because of this mob story, I swear, is that the legs will like the joints. So like the wrists and the feet are the first things that tend to decompose because they're the closest to bone.
So how do we want the human feet looking on it? Do we want them like skeletal feet?
Well, so the idea is if instead of giving it millions of feet, it physically carries a sack of the feet of its victims.
Carries a sack of foot bones.
Yeah, like
I like
Santa.
that.
Well, it
almost.
starts with the foot bones.
Because it carries the sack it was thrown into the river with to stuff other people's feet into. Can we tie rabbit feet to this somehow?
That's what he has around his neck.
Okay. That's his like good luck charm is the rabbit feet.
What if the rabbit feet thing started because of the
Because of this
pushback
Delaware
against
thing.
this
They fell-
creature?
There was such a small hole that was the only type of foot that fell through as it traveled the nation.
Well, no. I was thinking like that this story exists as of like even pre-mob times, so like 1700s, and then over the years, the rabbit foot lucky concept we can say was partially adopted in the United States because of a fear of your feet being taken.
It's an
So
offering
that's why
to
it's
the
good
foot
luck.
gremlin.
Yeah,
This thing needs a good name.
yeah. We don't have a name yet.
We do not have a name yet.
We have the sort of the origin story, the mob ties. That's important. We have a general idea of what it does, where it takes feet and it makes you wear shoes or else. So that's good. I know, Trav, you said you didn't want it to have eyes. Has that changed with?
I'm fine with it. It needs to look not human though.
I think it
Yes.
needs red eyes. The one thing I would
Red
want to take
piercing
from
eyes.
My
Red
local-
glowing eyes always is good.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
everything around this state at least has red glowing eyes, and I feel like that's just a necessary staple for a cryptid at this point.
Yeah.
I'm thinking bat ears
Bat ears?
because you can have like a good sense of hearing if you don't have good sight with your red piercing eyes.
It would be good to have like bat-like ears because then we can say that it's a number of different creatures when people theorize what it is.
finely tuned to hear the crunching of
So
feet
is
and
this
leaves in
thing-
autumn.
Yeah.
Is this thing anthropomorphic? Does it stand upright? Is it a biped?
So let me take that, and before we get to that, it doesn't just go after human feet either. So it's not specifically rabbit feet, but you'll find creatures in the woods with their feet gnawed off, but only the feet
Only
and
the
nothing
feet.
else.
And people excuse it as them trying to get out of bear traps.
Yeah. What if the creature, its origin was that it fell into a bear trap, so it's missing one foot?
And it's trying to
Okay.
replace it.
Well, so I
That's
think
why
that gives
it's
it too
taking
much.
I
feet.
like that idea.
It gives it too much sentience, but that's what the theory can be. Because the explainable version of this is that it's just something that just eats appendages. It's just a creature, you know.
What if we just call it Bigfoot?
Oh wait, we are soaring a little close to that.
Well, Bigfoot is. I think Bigfoot's just a
He doesn't
dude?
steal
Just a dude.
feet. He just has big feet.
Yeah, I don't think he kills. He just kind of exists. You know.
Name wise, we're
No,
close.
no. I saw that documentary on the History Channel. He pulled a guy in half.
How about the
Did he do that to get
Delawarean
his
toe
feet or what?
grabber?
No, because that sounds fake. What's
I want it to be something that
What's a
put
remote
on, like,
city in Delaware? Hold on.
the Dover Tover?
Cities in
The
Delaware.
It's over.
All right.
Because it's just Dover.
We got a few names to build from.
the Dover Toll Troll?
All right, now I need synonyms for feet.
Computer.
So
Enhance.
So Justin, what are we missing so far?
we're missing something to make it marketable, because every cryptid that's super famous is somehow then turned into something profitable.
And that's why I didn't want it to be just feet. Because then that feels too weird. That feels like a fetish thing.
Yeah, because like
Yeah, nothing
like,
about this has been a fetish thing.
like the Jersey Devil is turned into a hockey team, like St. Louis has like this thing called a Billykin, and one of the St. Louis teams for their college, their entire mascot is a Billykin.
So we
And it's
need
just
it
some
to be
weird thing.
commodified.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
So what if we make it
We
semi
need 4
bipedal?
syllables. Jersey Devil.
So that's a good point. It should have limited amounts of syllables. But what if we make it semi bipedal? It's on the horse legs, but it has that billy goat vibe to it. Like it's
Bipedal, but it has a hunchback, so it kind of drags its hands on the floor.
yeah, like maybe it runs
I'm
on all
okay with
fours when
that.
it wants to go fast. But it does stand on hind legs like a prairie dog.
Does he have like big arms?
How
Or
big
does
is this creature? That we didn't
Yeah, how
ask that yet.
girthy?
3.5 feet tall.
I was gonna say
I
three
don't
and a half
think it
to
should be
4
big.
feet.
Lanky, or is it thick and chunky?
I
The
think
bottom is thick.
the
Top
bottom,
is slender.
Bottom is thick.
so it's flared at the
Top
base.
is slender.
This just sounds like a sex thing.
The Dover Billyhorse. Good Billy Goat horse.
Dover Billyhorse. No, it's too much. It's uneven. It has to be even syllables.
What if we get rid
4.
of the regional part? Because there's just the chupacabra. It's not the Texas chupacabra.
True.
So we just call it the Billy horse.
Yeah.
The Billy horse. I like
oh,
that.
hold on. We need to check for the copyright on
SEO that. SEO the Billy horse.
Trav, search for the Billy horse.
SEO the Billy horse. No,
SEO it.
Billy
Go on,
horse
Trav.
was a real thing. It was the longest living horse on record. Oh wait, we could use that.
What if it's still alive?
Its second
Yeah.
lease on life.
This is the Billy horse.
Okay.
The remains that are left in that museum are fake.
Son of Billy horse.
Son of Billy horse.
Son of Billy horse.
Billy horse.
Because then, then
Okay,
you have
okay.
then you have the idea that it's maybe related to the legend of the Billy horse.
If
but
we
it's
want to
smaller.
even out the syllables, we could do son of the Billy horse.
What
That
if
would
what if you did Billy Horse Jr.?
that does not sound like a creature
Nope.
that you should be afraid
That
of.
sounds like someone that I want to nurture back into health.
That's a restaurant that SpongeBob gets sent to.
Oh my god, yeah. He didn't use his vacation time.
Oh, he
Okay,
did.
so
Bride of Billy horse.
I kind of like so Son of Billy Horse I don't think will work because that sounds like a Chucky movie now that you mentioned that. I kind of like Billy Horse though. Because there could be a separate like page on Wikipedia for the cultural Billy Horse.
Billy horse parentheses monster.
Yeah.
What about Benjamin Horse?
That's terrible. What's wrong with you?
Okay, we'll continue.
Okay, so we have 3.5 feet tall, so it's not
Oh, so he's a baby.
specifically it's not specifically a horse, but it's small with powerful horse legs that it can use to run at speeds of 35 miles an hour.
It's gotta be quick. You gotta fear this thing, right?
30 miles an hour. It runs faster than the fastest human.
Like, it may not outpower you specifically, but it's so fast that you couldn't get away from
So
it.
I'm imagining it has the ratio from ground to head level of a Dorito. Because like it's thick at the bottom and slender at the top, right?
That'd be a great silhouette. Just a stupid triangle.
Just it shows up in the forest. You see red piercing eyes and a "Mom, I threw up" stance from a fucking Dorito.
Oh my god, hold on. All right. I'm breaking this out early. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
No, my drawing tablet.
Okay. So 3.5 feet. I liked that, Chris. Speed 30-ish miles an hour. let's say that its front legs, we haven't described its front legs yet, but its front arm, appendage legs, whatever they are, there are claw marks on trees in the springtime.
Okay.
It's so
Because then-
specific.
Wait, why spring?
It's because in springtime, that's when it. You know how like when deer, when male deer or elks are in like their mating period, they rub their antlers on trees. I'm thinking that, but it's seasonal. So if you see those marks in spring,
You know, he's been
Wrong.
by. Yeah.
yeah,
So what kind of mouth or face are we giving this thing?
I'm literally just imagining like a goat head with red eyes.
I'm
Okay.
thinking snout,
Snout.
like a coyote snout,
Ooh. Ooh.
like a long coyote nose. You know what I mean?
Help him sniff out the feet.
Yeah, I'm imagining like God. I'm kind of imagining
do.
that is what he'd do.
And does he
Yeah.
have horns, or is it just the bat ears?
Little horns.
Bad ears.
I don't think it. I don't think it
Small
has
horns. Small horns. Bad ears.
Small horns. Okay.
Like small ones, like maybe a centimeter tall, or 2 centimeters tall.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But I'm imagining like appendages of different animals all mishmashed into one beast.
And then which
So-
arm is he using to hold his sack?
Left.
Left. Yeah. So my thought, Justin, is we don't want it to be too many amalgams of different animals conceptually, because then it becomes harder to describe. Like we want it to have some features that could be mistaken for multiple creatures.
Yes,
like
I
Bigfoot is
agree.
just a bear. The chupacabra is just a coyote, but it has descriptions that are vulture-esque depending on what kind of creature it is. You know what I mean? The Loch Ness Monster could be like a plesiosaur. That's the ostensible. It's not, but it could be. And historically is considered
From the
to be.
original description of it, that's what,
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a creature that you could believe feasibly was mutated from another existing creature. Because that's the explanation for why it's not real. Is that it's just a big coyote with hoofs somehow. Or it's a bastardized horse. Like it's a billy goat, so it has the hoofs, but for whatever reason it was malformed. You know?
Gained horse legs.
Its speed
But
helps with
then
that too. Because the
is
thing with
its front arms, are those still going to be legs, or are they arms?
I think
I
they're
think-
legs, but they kind of hang down like he wasn't meant to be bipedal. If that makes sense.
So
Okay.
So like not like dog paws, but like they have the functionality where it can't grab. But it has like maybe it has like fingers, like little like
Yeah, because it has to have a way to hold the sack.
True.
yeah.
Well, I was just imagining that being draped over the shoulder.
Oh.
Or we can change the sack that it carries it in its mouth. And so it drops it and like brings it to its cave. And then when it moves for the winter, it brings the sack
And
with
then,
it.
all right, is this sack like gonna be made from cloth that it finds, or are we talking like a Walmart plastic bag?
Cloth, like a burlap
Okay.
sack.
It's got to be burlap. Yeah, it's got to be sturdy enough.
Because
Because
that's also burlap has like some mob connotations to me as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I think so. It'd be believable that it was like a similar like, oh, it's weird that we found this creature, but like, or we found this body from that was killed by mobsters, but its legs were not off or whatever. You know?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I like this so far. I'm trying
How
to think
long
of what
has
else.
this thing been around?
I'm saying like 300 years. Like it first reported in the 1700s, but no one believed it for a while. But there was enough there that people would start to associate rabbit's feet, like the luck of rabbit's feet, with avoiding the Billyhorse. And it's a story that's been lost, but recently we found old descriptions of it from journal writing. Because it's in Delaware, so it would exist in the 1700s. You know,
It would,
Like,
yeah,
maybe
because Delaware did
maybe
exist back
17th
then.
century even, maybe 1600s, like early colonists. Because that could work.
100%.
Okay.
There's enough ambiguity for it to feasibly reproduce somehow, right? If you start to
Yeah.
be like, it
Yeah.
couldn't be alive
'Cause,
that
like,
long.
It's probably just a funny looking horse.
Yeah. Is there any specific thing to Delaware that has a spooky nature to it, like sort of like how I said the Mothman thing. I know I've heard it be related to like old weapon silos and somehow mutated from that. Is there something in Delaware, like in the soil?
Nuclear waste, Delaware.
What a search term
'Cause-
outside of the context of this conversation.
Because I'm thinking, like, if it's like, oh, the soil profile of Delaware is not very good, it's very high in arsenic or something.
We could use some of the witch hunts back in the day.
Health
And we
hazard
can use that.
in Delaware.
We
'Cause
could
I
use.
I
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
it
yeah.
up. I looked it up. There's one witch trial that happened in colonial Delaware. She was a Swedish settler who came to be known as Witch of Ridley Creek.
That would work, because then I think witches would also make sense with the rabbit's feet thing, and people wouldn't believe them.
And
So
could
it's
also
coming
say that
together. The lore is coming together.
And then you could maybe say that Billyhorse was created by the Witch of Ridley Creek.
I'm not sure how kosher these things are these days, but there are some parallels to be drawn, because there's some indication that some people believe that with the Mothman, Chief Cornstalk cursed the area of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and that the Mothman is the resulting curse being made real like decades or hundreds of years later.
So we have a bunch of different possible origin stories, which is what we need.
Yeah.
All of those can be relayed and be believable. So
We could just tell them, like, we could just tell 5 different stories to 5 different people and let them propagate the story.
yeah.
And then delete this
And then everyone's
podcast
like,
so there's
that's
no
not
proof.
where I heard it. Exactly.
Okay. So we have most of the physical description. We don't have a cry. What kind of cry does it have? Does it have a it's a whale, it's a sad narwhal. So we could
Guys,
have
run!
It's trying to make its way to the ocean, so it's mimicking whale noises, hoping it'll evolve.
So if we give it, so we're giving it a snout, like a wolf-like snout, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could give it a like a deep howl, potentially. Like not like a wolf howl, but like something that would be distinct for
Have
like
you ever
a
heard
creature.
the sound of a mountain lion in heat?
Could you do it for us?
Every
Just
Wednesday,
make
yeah.
sure?
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like. It legit sounds like someone screaming. I'm not making this up.
No, that is real.
I think
That is
that's
real.
actually perfect, because it has it could be a person screaming, it could be an animal in danger, attacking, being attacked, or it could be the Billyhorse.
I like that. What if it throws its screams so it has multiple intonations that it can scream in to lure people towards it thinking it's a human scream? So you would go
thinks
to
it's someone
save
that needs
somebody.
help.
You would go to save
go to
somebody
save
in the
somebody.
forest or by the creek.
In your rush to go and save that person by the creek, you didn't put your shoes on when you left the house.
I'm gonna give it human lips.
And the
Why?
and the Billy horse is stalking you as you're then chasing the location of the initial scream. So then once you're in an isolated area, it strikes.
Mhm.
And then I can work with that.
Has to be able to jump at least 6 feet in the air to get at someone's neck.
Well, yeah,
maybe.
it has horse feet, so
Yeah.
It has powerful legs, yeah, and
Just-
it runs on all fours for sure. It can stand on hind legs, but it runs on all fours.
but it's not supposed to.
So are we saying that the sack is kind of like a messenger bag that goes over its shoulder?
Well, I was saying that the sack, like I still think the sack should be carried in mouth, so it keeps the sack in a cave somewhere,
Okay.
and then when it's traveling to a new, like making a new home for itself, you'll see the dirt path of the track it's carrying, like of the sack it's carrying as like a pathway being dug into like the brush.
Because I think it'd be tough for it to make the noises if it was carrying the sack in its mouth. That's the issue.
Well,
Well, that's why that's
exactly.
why it's screaming, because it drops it and it gets sad.
I can't disagree with that.
I still think it carries it only when it's traveling, when it's moving to a new home, and it keeps it in its lair.
So it takes the feet back to the lair, and then when it's moving from place to place, then it puts all of it in the pouch and then carries it via mouth.
I feel like if it's smart enough to trick people with its howl, it's smart enough to release the bag, howl, and then bite it again and run.
It is, but my thought is if it's chasing prey, then
That's more drag.
Oh, true.
It's more drag, and I like the idea of the visual of there's a dichotomy visual here of the person whose legs were bitten off crawling away, and there's like a blood pool behind him or something like that where the legs would be, and the same sort of drag marks you can find in the dirt and in the forest when it's moving to a new home.
Blood.
There's two separate trails that this thing can leave. One is the trail of somebody crawling away after its feet have been eaten off at the ankles or whatever, and then one is the bag that it carries as it travels.
On the ground.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's like then there's multiple layers to like anytime you see anything being dragged, anytime you see scratch marks on trees, there's multiple reasons to be nervous in the state of Delaware.
All right, so this was my very rough sketch at first, and I only did this with my mouse, not my mouth.
Whoa.
Your mouth? Oh, you're
like
getting into
Billyhorse.
character here.
I'm getting into character.
Hey Siri,
So-
draw this shit.
This isn't my. This isn't what I was gonna draw for the stream. I'm about to move over. My mic quality is about to worsen, assuming that we're ready to move on to the sketching phase. But here's what I did.
You really did
that
draw a
is
Dorito.
It is in fact a Dorito.
For audio listeners, please allow me to shed some light on this for you. It is extremely triangular with a top point, but it looks circular along the way up to the top with pointed bat-like ears, 2 red glowing eyes, and highlights to show the snout features. Please check show notes, but
Imagine a Dorito that is ribbed for your pleasure and has horns. That is what we're referring to right now.
There's no horse legs.
So I thought
I figured we'd just use this as a jumping off point.
Okay.
let's jump, baby. Let's jump.
We
So we
use
gotta
this
trim
and then
down.
go, no, I don't like that, or yes,
mean,
I do like that.
We can
Because it's
explain
just a
this,
silhouette.
though.
This is easy.
That's the shape of the bag. It's a much bigger bag than we were thinking, right? It's like draped over it right now. It's like trying to stay warm or something. It has the Adidas bag over it. You know what I mean?
I just don't think it's a believable shape for a creature.
No, not at all.
It's
which is why
just
I'm
a
about to change it.
Dorito.
Yeah. So based on this picture here, I don't know that really describes the creature as we were evolving the tail of it. This feels like the first idea we had for this creature.
You know when that guy in the Sonic movie drew Sonic?
Yeah.
Crazy Carl.
This is the Sanic version of this creature? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna put him over here just as reference.
I think
okay.
the face looks appropriately
I like the face.
unsettling, though.
I like the face.
So-
It has snout-like features, but I think it needs the billy goat horse legs and like a strong quadrupedal like midsection. So not like horse shaped, but like a wolf almost.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then it has the front paws. Go nuts with that. I don't care. It has the little horns, but very small horns, and long ears. Or the horns could also be seen as ears. So it doesn't have horns. It's either
Okay.
or.
So here's one horse leg.
That's really good, actually. So okay. So as Trav is drawing this for the video version of this
I'm gonna be
podcast.
flipping it a lot, by the way, so be scared.
Okay, so as Trav is drawing this for the video version of this podcast, I think we, the three of us, should tell the tale of the Billyhorse. Do we
Are we
think?
going? Are we? Yeah, we can. I think that's actually probably the best thing to do. Let Trav.
Let
really
Trav go
start
nuts,
riffing.
and
let
yeah,
Trav-
okay, and we'll describe what he's drawing as it's finished as well. So I will start. How do I start this?
My name was Jerry. I became a real horse boy when I found the
This
Billy
can't be
goat.
point of view from the Billyhorse. It cannot be called Jerry with a Borat accent. I'm sorry, Trav. My wife did not like feet, and I told her people like feet. Yeah, nice.
Okay.
They all
So
started
my thought is going
1600s.
so my thought is going back deep in the 17th century in the great colony of Delaware, the state that would become Delaware. there were several witches and Wiccans that existed deep in the forests, right outside local communities, right outside local villages.
Mm-hmm.
And they spun this tale of a creature so horrid that the entire state
Cried.
The entire state feared this creature's existence. Every time we saw its trademark scratch marks on trees, right as the winter melt began, hunters would be careful because they didn't know whether those were deer tracks, deer marks, or the legendary, the fearsome, the Billyhorse. One such witch, known only today as
Jerry.
Maleficent Marjorie.
Martha Stewart.
The Witch of Ridley Creek.
The Witch of Ridley Creek. Okay. One of these... Okay. One of these witches, known only today as the Witch of Ridley Creek, specifically in her concoctions, in her...
Sorry, I drew the eyes really funny for audio listeners.
In her concoctions, in her cauldrons, she would throw rabbit's feet to ward off the spirit of the Billyhorse, to keep it away. And she would throw these rabbit's feet all around her little camp, her little cottage, so that the Billyhorse would not come any deeper into her territory. Chris, I'll let you take another story here.
Little did she know, though, that the Billyhorse secretly liked feet, and that all she was doing was drawing it further and further across Delaware's colony to her location. Tales went through all of the colony of Delaware, traveling through newspapers. Newspapers maybe existed in this time. Who could say? The records are lost. No written. I'm sorry. This thing was just so... It was like a chihuahua I'd kick off the street.
Oh my god.
As the Billyhorse made its way toward...
This guy's going to pick up fucking Clank at some point. I like the chihuahua ears, though.
Those are the bad ears.
No, I know, but
it's an interpretation. Yeah.
So
it's a really good drawing.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's
so
not.
okay. So we have the story of the origin of the rabbit's feet. We'll take that to she was drawing the the Billyhorse closer and closer to her cottage.
What I thought it was going to be was the people of Delaware weren't aware that her using these rabbit feet in her concoctions was keeping the billy goat away. The people of Delaware feared her for it and put her on trial.
I gave him a foot on his forehead.
So I was gonna. No.
You definitely did.
It's a little much.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that they put her on trial, but before they could take her to the stock in the middle of town to be shown to the town square, she disappeared. And when they went to her cottage that following week to find her, all they found was a deep trail in the dirt right from her front porch all the way into the woods. They followed that trail, and the trail started with deep tracks in the dirt, almost like what you would expect car treads look like today. And then as they got closer and closer, as the dirt became brush, as the brush became fallen leaves, that trail turned into a crimson, deep red. Justin, you take it from here.
They continued following this trail until they reached a strange cave carved into the mountainside of very mountainous area Delaware.
Notably mountainous area of Delaware.
Mm-hmm. Notably mountainous area of Delaware.
Is he bald?
Slight hairs, slight fur.
Slight
a little tuft. Yeah.
The townsfolk, not believing anything that the witch had been saying during her trial, wander into the cave haphazardly.
And they found
Potentially
a pungent odor,
Found a pungent
an
odor.
indescribable odor.
It was a mixture of different body parts lying all over this floor of the cave.
All disorganized, all spread,
complete-
strewn across the floor.
Comparable to the
Hands.
scent of a glazed donut in today's times.
All of these body parts were strewn across the floor, with the exception of one notable body part that was missing.
You found all the legs. You found all the arms. You found the torsos, the heads.
But at the bottom of the
Notably no
legs, gnawed off, missing, at the ankle, were the feet of every single one of these limbs. Until they suddenly stumbled upon a mountain, a giant mound of metatarsal bones sitting there.
Now, luckily, the town went with the village doctor to go and find the witch, and the doctor was able to determine that these were the metatarsal bones of various creatures in the forests of Delaware.
If they hadn't
Some
brought him
human.
along, they'd be like, we don't know what kind of bones those are. He's like, don't worry, metatarsal.
Lucky there was a doctor here that knows every animal's bones.
The 1600s.
The hunters recognized the hoofs of deer, the hoofs of the local goat population, the hoofs of local sheep that had gone missing from the herds.
From the herds, the livestock that they had.
But they weren't all just livestock feet. They weren't just cow feet or buffalo feet. There were dog feet, even rabbit feet, wolves, bears, most notably, several human feet. All decomposed, almost down to the bone. As if it was the meal of a really fat guy eating some barbecue. Where he cleaned the wing hole. Okay, so that's the classical story. That's the classical interpretation of the story.
What happened next?
So now, from there we would say something to the extent of much of this info was written off as legend until recently. An excerpt of old newspaper was found describing this creature, describing the fearsome Billyhorse.
It's not even a horse.
And
Like a
that
bat wolf.
and that Billyhorse's features, Chris. What did this old description of this creature look like?
Well, he had the top hat. He liked to dance and sing. Going by the latest findings. Oh, wait, sorry. These findings were bogus as by some who tried to smear the good name of the tale of the Billyhorse and its historical impact on Delaware. Its features, my God, long bat-like ears, dissonant, often 245-degree different directions, glowing red eyes, eyebrows that conveyed innocence but betrayed its dark, hungry nature.
Trav, make the eyes a little more like cat eye shaped. If you can like smush them a little, because that way they're not just like puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, this thing's very like
It's actually kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie.
How do cat eyes go? Like,
Yeah, like that, but a little bit. Yeah, that works. Now it looks like it's winking at me. It looks like when my old dog would like get water in its eye and it'd be like, great. Okay, so
Now it looks very like
it's
like,
blitzed out of its
believe
fucking mind. Oh God, this is
Oh,
great.
it is high.
So now let's take that description and
I know what's bothering me about it right now. The brows look like that one chihuahua that someone edited like the Rock eyebrow onto from that one image. You know what I mean? I'll put it in the video.
I was getting Scrappy Doo. I was getting Scrappy Doo vibes out of this thing's face.
It's amazing.
So kind of like that, but then when we do the final eyes, Trav, I would give it like that vertical version of this same eye shape, like
what
the
you mean,
hunter.
like-
Yeah, like that on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just rotate them actually.
Oh, I did the wrong part.
If you just rotate them, make them just verticalize.
They rotate it vertically, yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. For audio listeners, this is all worth it to watch on the YouTube side. But let's go back to the description of this creature from a more recent source, from the 1930s, during the Great Depression era, when local mobs ran the underground speakeasies, and stories of people stumbling drunkenly through the streets of known party city, Dover, Delaware.
I thought of the store brand, and I was like, the 1930s Party City.
the known Delaware mob connections, the debts, the gambling debts. So Chris, take the mob story away.
Oh gosh, you want me to tell that story here right now?
I want you to tell that story.
Oh
right
man,
now.
Right.
Well,
Can you do it?
It all involved the Dover Craps boys. Not the highest tiered mob
Craps
around.
boys.
I can tell you that. But they love to
A group
play
of
craps.
malcontents in their early 20s,
Ne'er do
barely
wellers,
college age,
if you will.
as of now.
Yes. Well, they like to play gambling games until the wee hours of the morning, you see. However,
Sipping on their moonshine.
sipping on their moonshine. And it would make them a little more violent than usual. They'd get the new recruits to the mob and to the games late at night. Cigars puffing, moonshine pungently piercing the air with your nose. Can you tell I'm on the spot? But their one bet would be on nights where they'd get too carried away that they'd throw one of the new recruits into the river if they lost their bet. If they couldn't pay up and owed them too much, they would simply put them into a bag and toss them into the local Delaware.
Doverware.
The Delaware River?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be that one.
It could be. Might be.
Geography changes so much these days, but unfortunately for Tommy Maxwell, purportedly lost the bet one night and was thrown into the Delaware River.
Concrete tied to his feet.
Yeah, that's really violent. That sounds great. That happened. After rubbing their hands together, saying, "Job done, boys," and walking back to the warehouse, a grisly scream was heard.
Yeah.
And then they looked over, and someone sneezed. And their fear dissolved.
Little did they know it wasn't a sneeze, though. It was
Little
the
did
cry
they
of
know.
the Billyhorse.
Yes. It turns out Robert was a very quiet sneezer, and they had heard the Billyhorse.
So Trav, suggestion for the drawing here.
Yes.
Can you make the snout sharper, like down, rather than have it be like kind of like something like maybe not that sharp down, but something more like angular, like a wolf snout, because it's currently like a puppy snout. Because that might make it look a little more menacing, more like coyote-esque or hyena-like or whatever. Okay, so we have the
Actually, that looks good. Yeah.
that does a lot. That does a lot.
I think that when the teeth come in, the fangs,
Yeah.
I think that'll finish
Yeah.
it. Headlines.
Oh, but he's got mouth in his mouth.
You can still have a little poking out on the edge, right?
Or bite
Yeah.
marks in the
Or, yeah.
That's perfect because that's it. That's it. Okay, so we've told part of the mob story, and this wasn't just for small time gambling groups either. This wasn't a small time deal. Even some of the biggest mob families in
Delaware.
extensions of the New York's five families. Even those, their reach went all the way down to Delaware as a known shipping hub for the early 1930s United States.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot more in Delaware. The laws were a little bit less enforced out in the sticks of Delaware compared to the big bustling city of New York.
Especially when it came to internationally shipped alcohol smuggled in on trade ships. And because of that, oftentimes when they wanted to make someone disappear, these families would, just like Tommy Maxwell,
Pickles.
just like Tommy Maxwell, they would find their victims with their feet sunken into concrete and thrown over. And when their bodies would surface, days later, bloated, covered in bite marks from local nearby schools of fish, they would also notice that, unlike a lot of other victims found in this fashion elsewhere in the country, the ankles once again had these strange, sharp cuts. They weren't broken due to decomposition. They were gnawed off.
Like something was trying to get to the feet in the concrete.
Yeah.
And no one could ever explain why these bodies were turning up with the ankles gnawed at, right? It was such a weird specific thing. What kind of killer would do this? Who would try to get to the feet so desperately of all these dead bodies in the creek? Also, how many gamblings were happening at this mob? Who could say? But there were a lot of bodies that turned up, all with their ankles gnawed at.
It wasn't just gambling. It was folks that didn't pay their debts from all across New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia,
Delaware,
and Delaware, the known mobs of Delaware. So,
Does he have a tail?
little nubby tail.
got cut off.
Ooh, that's like a rabbit tail almost.
It was cut off, and now it is bloody.
Okay, so now, Justin, I'd like you to describe a mid-1960s version of the Billyhorse story.
Mid-1960s.
During the age of weed. That's what it's
Free
known as
love.
in Age of Empires.
Yes, the age of weed.
Today's sponsor.
I
wish.
The Great Depression of the United States has long since passed. We've gotten out of World War II, and the United States of America is seeing a bit of a economic resurgence. A lot of people are starting to believe in free love and are traveling out to less populated areas of the United
Delaware.
States to try and reconnect with nature. One such area that has yet to be touched with the modern civilization is the state of Delaware, as who would want to be there in the first place.
Most notably, one of Delaware's 17 state parks
Yes,
was where local teens would go to smoke and
smoke the devil's
fraternize.
lettuce and fraternize with each other and make love into the late nights. But
Wasn't really
Once-
love, we realized later.
we realized later, as we thought the screaming that we heard was it was actually
Actually, it was the Billyhorse. It wasn't an orgasm after all. Hello and good night, everyone. Make sure to tip your waitress.
Thanks, Danny DeVito. Oh.
So,
Oh, my
long
God.
story short, there was a group of 5 teens that went out to the state parks of Delaware. 2 of them went off into the night, and as things started getting a little bit frisky, they started hearing a screaming out into the woods, a scream all too familiar to the local denizens of Delaware, but as to these out of towners, not as recognizable. They were taken aback by the sudden screaming out into the woods and thought potentially their friends who they had left behind were in danger. They follow the sound of the screams to try and see if they can help their friends. And the last thing they remember is seeing the red glowing eyes of the Billyhorse.
It's falling apart.
Hidden deep behind a nearby set of bushes.
They peered into a set of bushes and found glowing eyes staring back at them. They immediately jumped back and started to try and run away from the imposing set of eyes that were hidden in these bushes. But all they could hear were the unrealistic trotting of horse feet. That they know that horses aren't in these.
Horses aren't real.
And horses are much bigger than this.
They're not
the
in these national
trademark
parks.
plotting as if it was of a horse or a donkey or a small goat. But it wasn't running towards them. No, it was running past them. One of them felt its coarse, matted, jagged fur scrape past his upper leg as it ran past. And before they could get their flashlight aimed at this creature one more time, it was already gone. All they could see were those hoof marks. Small hoof marks, smaller than a horse, smaller than a donkey, smaller than even a goat.
And curiously enough, only one set. Normally an animal with these kind of feet, they would have 2 sets of tracks left behind. But there's only one left behind by the billy goat.
They told the papers, of course, but they were in a spot notorious for drug use and merrymaking late into the night, and they wrote off the teens as just having another
Sex
drug
makes
venture.
me hallucinate.
Sex makes me hallucinate, baby, shake it. Duke Nukem on the scene for the new Cryptid. That shit was crazy.
I saw the Billyhorse. You wouldn't fucking believe it. I mean, maybe you would. Maybe you should.
Dookie loves some feet, but come on, man, that's weird.
Dookie loves some feet.
Get a new fetish, bitch.
I like the Dorito pile being the pile of bones.
Yeah,
It has eyes too.
Yeah.
that recontextualized very well.
Yeah. Okay, so essentially, Trav's almost done with this creature, as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
And-
I'm running out of things I want to put on him.
It's
Can you give
honestly,
him-
it's very good. It's kind of cute, which is a good thing for a marketable cryptid.
It is a good thing. It honestly is. Can you
we
give
could-
it some like emaciated backbone, like
Oh, like
structure?
ribs. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was
So
gonna
like
say,
I gave him some spine here, but
Like,
give him more.
maybe just make them a little more protruding, like he's hungry.
Alright,
Yeah.
how do fuck do ribs work?
doesn't get as much feed as he wants. I was going to say,
Yeah,
there's quite a market for cutesy, pitootsie
Yeah.
cryptid stickers and such on Etsy. I could see the text "I eat ass" above this thing doing quite well.
Yeah, I like feet. What about it? So to describe this creature for the audio listeners, again, it will be in the show notes. It'll be the second image in the show notes, most likely, and it'll be fully described there for you to know which one you're clicking on. It still kind of has a Chihuahua-esque face. Like the bat ears kind of look like a Chihuahua's big floppy ears. There's big text that says "I eat ass" in impact font over the top of it now, slightly outlined. White text, now thicker outline, black outline, white text. It's got very sharp, glowing red eyes. It's getting thicker, the boldness of the outline.
It's exactly as I imagined. Oh my god.
It's got little stubby, like almost tiny devil horns right above its eyebrows, which look inquisitive. Not necessarily monstrous.
Wait, I drew the ribs going down. They're supposed to go sideways. Oops.
Trav.
It's got an angled snout, and it's got teeth sticking out of the sack, the torn burlap sack you can see the
got a bit of
bones
an
and the
underbite.
blood of the feet underneath as the sack is tearing. You can see the teeth sticking out from both the top and the bottom of the place in the sack where it is holding this bag. It's got 4 horse hooves, but it kind of stands like a Charmander almost, where it's a little hunched over. It's got a little bit of a hunch to it, but it's still bipedal. But you could tell that it could be quadrupedal. It's got a little nubby tail with a bit of blood sticking out of it, as if it got into a fight, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
think
thing's
it adds
scrappy.
to
It
the
can't win
intrigue.
every fight, but it knows when to run.
yeah. This is good. I like this.
Trav has done impressively well.
Yeah, this is
This
really,
is very,
really good.
very good.
30
This is
minutes
really-
of
Forgot
drawing.
to give him the human foot fin.
Oh, that thing you said. Yeah.
I think that's okay. I don't think we.
That's just the Mario World background hill. What are you doing?
That's a Yoshi. So that's a good description for this. Now it's got the Mario Hill with the eyes.
Diglett!
Oh, now
my
it's a
God!
Diglett. Oh my God, it's a Wiglet.
Don't say that.
Wug trio. So do we have
No, I
anything else?
deleted the
we-
app. No, I need to wait. Hold on.
I'd say the best part is, it may seem like we've made this up, but this is actually real.
This is all
Oh.
real. We researched this. It has what color fur? We gonna say like dark brown, dark gray, like grayish brown fur?
Dark gray.
Yeah. Okay. Trav did a really good job. I think that's where we will finalize the description of this creature.
The Delaware Billyhorse.
The Billyhorse that roams the streets of Delaware, and by streets I mean forests. There's the ass. Now the word. Trav is highlighting it like it's almost like the shadow that this thing would cast, but he's drawn
to be like a flashlight, but
I like that. I like that a lot.
That actually works really well.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Okay, so that is where we'll call the description of the Billyhorse for now. If you want to tell and weave the tales of the Billyhorse, keep in mind its features. It's a scrappy 3.5 foot long creature with horse hooves.
King.
Short king. It specifically gnaws at it's an ankle biter. It gnaws at the ankles of local woodland creatures in Delaware, and mainly Delaware. It doesn't seem to go past Delaware, but it hovers around the state parks and travels between different caves found in the state parks, where it keeps its mountain of trophies that it keeps for bragging rights.
And
I
some
guess.
may say that it was an old wives' tale passed down from generation to generation to try and make sure children didn't run outside without shoes on. Others say that it is real and still roaming and looking for more.
We forgot about that part. Yeah, it's the don't run around in the forest without your shoes on. Always wear your shoes, and if you're inside, wear condoms on your shoes so that you don't take them off and get your shoes eaten, because it may, in fact, put its offspring, its little babies, inside the shoes, where it will nibble at your feet. So
That's all true.
this has all happened. This is all science.
This has all happened. It's all science. This is all science. End of chapter.
End of chapter. So let us know if you liked this. We're not done with the podcast just yet, but I think this section of the podcast is over with. Definitely check out Trav's really, really good drawing of this creature. Like, this is a creature that you could believe exists, because it does. It's real.
Yeah. If you don't, you
Let us
should.
know. Let us know next time you're sitting around a campfire telling scary stories. If you tell the story of the Billyhorse, you can tag us anywhere on social platforms. Let us know, because we would love to share the stories that you have shared of the legendary Billyhorse.
And honestly, add more lore.
Yeah.
What else does the Billyhorse do?
Continue to add lore. Maybe it goes to Smash tournaments and hits on people. Who knows? It might.
Why are you looking at me?
It can just
I wasn't.
detect the scent from so far away at that point. Such a mass collection of smelly people. It's prime
always saying
target
this.
territory. Delaware Smash tournaments.
So,
And they deserve it.
with all of that said, we do have one more thing to do for this episode, unless we have anything else we want to say about the Billyhorse, any of us.
I love him. He's cute. I want a marketable plushie that I'll never touch.
Yo, we could make a makeship of this thing and then not be able to sell enough.
Sorry, Trav.
That wasn't a dig at Trav. That's a dig at anyone who does makeship.
Yeah.
Because they never sell. But the Billyhorse, it might, especially if it has the I eat ass plushie text over top. Okay, so Justin, I'm going to ask this of you because I don't want to move around
Yes,
my windows too much here.
I already have
we have
the
Thank you.
the patron.
week up.
The Patreon question of the week. For only $5 a month, you can join the founder tier over at patreon.com/crub. You get exclusive content, including the pre and post shows and the full VOD versions of these live streamed podcasts. You get bonus podcasts, including discussions about things like Ted Lasso's seasons 1, 2, and 3, the full series, in 3 separate episodes of the podcast, starring famous Twitch streamer JTart9 sitting above me here on this screen, as well as Nico, All Hail Buckets, talking about their experiences with that show. We have a bunch of other bonus content. We are going through every single Mario Party board and keeping score, and whoever wins the most will kill the other 7 or something. That's factual. It happened. So yeah. Patreon.com/crub. One of the other bonuses is that you can ask us a Patreon question of the week, and we will answer one of them every week on the show. So TheCrazyEven asked us the question we chose for this week.
Yes, Patreon question of the week from TheCrazyEven. What is the most frustrating moment / mental block you've encountered when writing or creating anything, excluding outside circumstances?
So Chris, I'll let you go first, but I have to highlight, I didn't realize, so the Billyhorse now also says it hates Delaware. And then it says like feet with a little like colon
Ooh,
3
face,
smiley
yeah.
face, but I thought it meant like it has captured 3 feet. Like that's how many feet it currently has
It's keeping the count.
in its bag.
I was imagining it like it's just there's some graffiti and it just happened to be spotted there, but I think both interpretations are actually correct.
Yeah, no.
The worst one I've ever been in is in the one I'm currently in, because I haven't really been able to energize myself to make a video most of the year.
I thought you meant the podcast. I thought you meant like right this moment.
I
and
hate
was like,
this
damn.
podcast and it's a drag every week and I don't have fun on it.
So your current creative block is the current one you were saying.
Yeah, I either can't keep my focus on what I have like down on paper to make, and I can't get energized about new ideas. So that's I'm in a weird limbo of like the things I know I can make, I'm not really energized by, and the things I don't know I can make, I don't know them, and I can't get myself to generate them. So I'll get back to you on this one, I guess.
That's something that I think a lot of us run into. I don't know if I can speak for you on this one, Trav, but I've had moments where it's like I don't know what it is that I specifically want to make or what I should take a risk on. And usually some of my best work comes out of those periods when I come back or I decide on an idea. So there was a point at which I hedged on the idea of doing a PlayStation All-Stars video. And then like 2 weeks before I was like, I need to do this. And so that was my first PlayStation All-Stars retrospective, which was the first video of mine that really gained any traction for like 2 days. And same with Legend of Dragoon. Chris and I had talked about that game many, many times and gushed about it. And then like a month before I was like, I think we need to do this. It's the 20th anniversary in a few weeks. And so I went in, I played the whole, 40-hour game. I recorded in a goddamn 100-degree unfinished attic because I wasn't at home because we were in COVID restrictions at the time. So I was quarantined. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. And then Chris and I put together the edit, and that was really the big shift in what I decided or what I felt my direction was for the channel at that point. Same with Ratchet 3. I kept wanting to do Ratchet 3 for 5 years, and I just never did because I was like, I don't know that I can do it justice the way I want to. And then I sat down and I started recording Ratchet 3, and I stopped myself and said, no, I have to do 1 and 2 again first to do them the right way. I can't say watch my 5-year-old videos. One of them is just the 3rd video I ever made. Right. And that led to all of what I've done since. The whole Ratchet retrospective series came from that drive to do what I would consider my childhood favorite game the justice that I felt it deserved, but also to chip at the fact that I also had a lot of critiques of it. And that came out of me sitting there not sure what I wanted to do, not sure how I wanted to do it, not sure if I could do it, and a lot of really, really great projects came out of that. Whether they're good videos is up to you to decide. But it's happened multiple times. And every time I'm stuck in one of those periods, I just I take solace in the fact that you always come out of them better. And I think that's happened with you too, Chris. Like when you had a few months off a year or so back, and your first video back felt like so far improved from prior stuff. Like it felt like there was a new you there that was more you and less, the thing we all do where we have voice over voice.
Right. Yeah.
The less you care, the better it turns out, essentially is the moral of the story. Justin, I know you don't create content in this traditional way that Even's referring to, but you do stream and you haven't in a long time. Why?
Honestly, just life getting in the way.
Why?
Plus, do you really want me to get into the specifics?
I don't care.
Justin has like 20 jobs.
Yeah, I have like 20 jobs, and then we also have the podcast. So whenever I do have that like burst of energy to stream, we're making cryptids together, and I have a lot of fun with this. I feel like a lot more of my personal creative energy has been put into the podcast itself, and it's just really a struggle to come back from the podcast to go to my personal stuff. But the personal stuff will hopefully come back sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Trav, what about you? I don't know if you're still at your drawing tablet or if you're back at your Maine.
I'm on good mic now.
Hi. You still have eating ass as your as your image for the. Okay.
You
That's
should.
fine.
Oh, here, I could fix that. 1 second.
I can
Oh, are you
fix
gonna
it.
like chroma key yourself into this?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh no.
That'd be a silly Billy.
Trav, tell us about your writer's block moments. Or hi, you just lunged back.
Okay.
So
Travis,
for the audio,
Travis
for the audio
in
listeners,
the picture. Don't worry. Picture in picture. He is the Billyhorse.
yeah, like over the face of the Billyhorse, there's Trav's webcam and the
Webcam,
text
yeah.
"I eat ass" right over it.
And he ran and grabbed his keyboard. Now he's setting back down.
So,
Hi, Trav.
so Trav, tell us about your writer's block. Oh, I see. He's now doing the crop, so that is just his face over the Billyhorse's face. He's cropped the webcam.
Wow.
So my biggest, what was the question?
Your moment of writer's block or creative block or struggling to create.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
You wanna?
Yeah,
Oh,
see you guys.
I'm trying.
Anyways, thank
all
you
right.
all for coming.
From our
No,
perspective, we didn't know
I,
how much of what we just said you heard, so we're just sitting here like, yeah, what? What the hell,
No,
Trav? You ever have issues?
Yeah, I do a lot. No, it's usually time that gets to me. I don't really have an issue with getting to work. I have an issue with like committing to it, which is leading
okay.
up to something less vague. My biggest issue still, arguably, is I get distracted easily, and I'm not exactly the most disciplined when it comes to, hey, I gotta get this thing done because I need to work and I need money.
Me too.
And so I'll just get lost playing Starfield or something. Like, even if I'm recording footage for it, I'm like, I could be doing something. My editor is sitting here waiting for me to get something to him. And I'm just recording footage, which doesn't, like, I'm not being efficient with my time. And so, like, the way that I've been, the question was, like, how we get around it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I take it that direction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I started doing recently, which has been helping, is because I don't have a dedicated workplace, my computer desk is in my bedroom, which is already really bad for work ethic and morale.
Trust me, that's a mood.
yeah.
I'm now out of that, and it's been a boon towards my mental health and productivity.
So I've heard. But because it's not really an option, at the moment anyway, to get an office, what I've done to rectify that is making sure that I've done, at least 3 hours of work before doing anything fun on my computer. And then 3 hours again after dinner time. Like, no fun games after dinner. Get some work done. If I don't get like a full 6 hours before then, because at the moment 8 hours is tricky with current life events.
See, I'm surprised you do it. You do work hours after dinner, because I usually get sleepy. I get that sugar crash.
I mean, my goal is to just do 6 hours before dinner, but if I don't, like, just get something done.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, it's like food time. I take a break and then I come back like a little while later after I'm like refreshed and I'm no longer in that. That's not a sugar crash.
I mean, part of that is also, it's more like I'm gonna spend time. I should have clarified. I'm spending time away from my computer after I eat to kind of help with that.
Gotcha. Okay, so sort of
help
still
my
that
mental
way.
Clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a
do you
very
have-
good point made with the camera that Trav has set up after he left his drawing tablet for audio listeners.
Yeah, Trav is still superimposed over the ass-eating
They
Billyhorse.
don't need to know.
So do you have any specific project you can think of that was one you really struggled with in that way, Trav?
Right, that was the question. I'd say that my biggest ones, this is going to sound backwards maybe to some people. The biggest problems or projects that I struggle with are usually the ones that I'm more passionate about because I'm a lot harder on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a result, I'm stepping away because I'm overwhelming myself with what I could do differently. Like I I have a bad habit of, like, if I'm getting overwhelmed with something, I just throw my hands up, say fuck it, and walk away. Thankfully, that really only happens with my own personal projects. It hasn't happened in a situation that is less trivial. But it's usually if I get overwhelmed thinking about how I could do a project differently, how something could be better, if something's not up to my standard, I get hard on myself, and then I just kind of stand up and walk away, which is always tricky.
Yeah. No, it's
So I guess if you want a more specific example, my latest Metroid video was probably the biggest in that regard, which was a while ago. I want to say it was Metroid Prime, which is over a year ago. But that was a lot for me. It was a lot to make me sit down, buckle down, and actually finish it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that. Over time with the Ratchet videos, it got harder and harder to produce them because there were so many jokes I had to remember to add in. And each one was its own story I was telling of production or whatever, where I'm weaving together both the development story, the development of the series story, and my own story with it all at once, while also then building the story for the viewer of the video series. So doing the pirate joke, the I'm a little teapot joke coming back again and again and again, or Say It With Me, which I then ended at one point in the with a joke in one of the videos, which was a fun thing to do. Mm-hmm. And by the end, like I remember genuinely getting like not choked up, but there was a moment like when I had just finished the Rift Apart video, the retrospective one, where like I had the intro playing and it kind of hit me. I'm like, this has been well over a year and change of my life working on these videos as my job. And it's because of that it became my job as a dedicated thing, because it was already something I was doing as my mostly full-time job, but then those videos propelled it into another level. Mm-hmm. And so to have had that come full circle and be able to say, I'm through it, there was a moment of like, man.
Yeah, I get that.
And the PSP games.
And then
I remembered my example, if we're not running too long here, by the way. Mine, because I realized in the first place I never even actually answered with the example. Mine was the Sonic Collection video, which was going over all the Sonic
one.
Yeah.
That was one I had the idea for like a year before. I was like, no one's really done this. Someone should do that. And then I didn't do it for like a year, naturally, right? That one was just a logistical thing of like, I need to convey everyone concisely. I need to get footage from every game in each collection potentially, and then convey quirks and pros and cons of each collection concisely, and not let this run on forever and be boring and be actually too detail oriented to where it's kind of boring and repeating the same things over and over. I think it worked out. Yeah. I got the Mothman statue in that video. That ties back around. I don't know why I did that, but that's in that video.
Full circle.
Yeah, you can see me there for that. So
I remember you coming back to that one once or twice, and there were a couple of videos like this where I just kind of was like, no, like just push through and just get it out, even if you're not happy with it, because you'll be happy with it another day down the road. Because that's something that I always struggled with was that. That's why I started the PS Plus series, was just to get myself out there every single week or whatever. And now, thank God, I don't have to do that every single week.
You don't want to talk about Saints Row as the company's being shut down? Welcome to Plays Plus One.
No, please, God. That is where I think we will call this episode of the Crubcast for today. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in. Thank you for checking it out either in the audio realm or on YouTube. Again, these air live, or these air every Friday. They are streamed live every Tuesday. If you are watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. Make sure to hit the like button, or if you did already and you didn't like the video, you can take it back now. I give you permission. If you're watching in the audio realm, give us a nice review. Only nice ones, because those help us get on the charts a little bit with this podcast stuff. And yeah, that's about everything. If you watch on one platform, maybe leave us a nice thing on the other as well, because every little bit helps get this stuff further out for people, and that means that more people get to see us do dumb shit like this. If you enjoyed the cryptid concept, let us know. We have a bunch of other stupid ideas like this that we can definitely do, much less video-oriented for ones other than the cryptid one. Don't worry. Anyone else have anything they would like to add before we say goodbye for today?
Nope.
No.
Wear your shoes, eat ass, respect your parents, unless they don't deserve it.
And go to patreon.com/Crub. And if you donate the $5 a month to help support us at Crub, Justin will let you eat his ass.